Okay, and then some tools. A couple things we've got here, and I'm going to go through this very quickly. Clue facilitation. I think we can all acknowledge that while these are pretty lofty and idealistic goals, the fact of the matter is not everyone comes prepared on day one to perform in this sort of capacity. Not everyone comes in adequately prepared to say, okay, you know what, I can organize myself. I know exactly what my deal is in this company, and I know who I need to interact with, and I know how to build those connections, and I know how to get people on board when I want to get something done, and I know how to initiate a change in an organization. In fact, many people don't. We're in a manufacturing environment. We don't have a lot of MBAs coming in who are trained as managers. We don't have a lot of people coming in who have all of the organizational expertise of how best to interact with other people. And so we have a function, which we have a handful of people, I think 3 or 4 people within the entire enterprise, whose responsibility is to kind of actively coach people in some of the nuances of self-management. And some need it a little more than others. The end goal, though, is that ultimately to help everyone within the enterprise work their way up to a point where they're able to effectively organize, coordinate, plan, direct, and control on their own. We've got self-management training and business skill training. So again, self-management training is kind of a formal iteration of this clue facilitation function. It's education around the fundamentals of the principles, how to get things accomplished, what it looks like within the organization. We've got a pretty comprehensive program we put on. And then business skills training is a pretty important one that I don't think we've made enough progress on. Matt actually has been helping us somewhat with some of this, along with Paul Terpeluk. But this is another area. Not everyone comes into the organization prepared to take a look at all the feedback information and make enlightened judgments about how to do it. Not everyone comes in adequately prepared to know how to make a capital investment judgment. And again, remember we talked about the purchasing authority. That goes down to capital improvements. Anybody within the organization has the right to initiate a capital improvement. So you want to make sure that people are getting that ball rolling from a basis that makes absolute sense. Now, there's a more formal process around that, which we can talk about a little bit later if we want to. Final thing is process documentation. Some of these are things that are not unique to self-management at all, but they are either enhanced or the need for them is a little more intense because of the way we're organized. From a coordination aspect, one of the things that we've identified as being a gap is you have a bunch of people come in who are experts at what they do, and they're pretty good at coordinating with others, and then you have new people come in as you're expanding or you're building a new factory or something, whose responsibility is to take on that similar sort of role in another location or in conjunction with this person. And the transfer of knowledge in our experience and the way you go about arriving at how are we going to do things within the organization has sometimes been not as good as we would like it to be. So this process documentation is a fundamental aspect of that.